UFC 323 is not the last event of the year, but it is the last pay-per-view ever. Gone are the days of paying $80 to watch 5 fights, and here comes the era of all of the fights being included. My name is Angelo, this is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC 323 fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and DraftKings Fantasy Plays. And while we look back on 2025 fondly, let's take an even closer look at some of the wins. Over the last year or so, our premium member community, the people who have gone to WeWantPicks.com and used the tools and used the insight, have put up over $1 million in winning DraftKings Fantasy tickets, and these are just the ones they tell us about. Over the last year or so, our community has gone to WeWantPicks.com, and for $10 measly, they have unlocked tools. They have unlocked picks and bets, and they have unlocked insight, and they've used all of that to build some fantasy lineups, to compete with their friends, to chase the giant payouts in the large tournaments, and they have done so pretty successfully. I will argue to the death that our website, WeWantPicks.com, has the greatest offering this space has ever seen. We're not competing with random people that have a Patreon. We're competing with the titans of industry, the roto-grinders, the Awesemo, the giant DFS companies that charge $50, $80, $300 a month just to access a handful of tools. We have those exact same tools, and they're included in a $10 package that not only includes DFS, but also includes bets. One of those tools is the DraftKings Optimizer. This does what an optimizer does. It's a fancy calculator that will build fantasy lineups for you. But some of you may be watching this and say, what the hell is an optimizer? And for you, we took it a step further and we built the industry's first beginner mode. With one click of the button, you no longer have to know how to use an optimizer. What we've done is we've redesigned it. So now it's going to ask you a series of normal, logical questions like, who are your most confident favorites? Who are the underdogs you like most? Is there anybody you absolutely do not want in your lineup? And after you answer a few of those questions, it'll do the work for you and build your lineups. We have more advanced tools that are $300 elsewhere. And if you think that's an exaggeration, go check out SaberSim. SaberSim's a fight simulator, and it is $300 a month, and we have the exact same thing included right here. We have coded this from scratch. What this simulator does is it runs through 100,000 simulations. It takes fighter A, it takes fighter B. It brings in their grappling stats, their striking stats, their biometrics, historical stats. It brings in everything you could need. And then it runs them through 100,000 simulations, and it gives you the projected outcomes. It can then build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. You can take that information to your favorite sports book. This tool, 10 other tools, picks, bets, an artificial intelligence, all of it is included in one package. One single package. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it is $10, and all of these tools that I just mentioned are not only loaded for UFC 323, not only loaded for UFC Vegas 112 next week, but also loaded for the first event of 2026, which is UFC 324. Get ahead of the line movement, do your own research, jump in. It's freaking $10, you cheap son of a bitch. Treat yourself for the holidays. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let's go ahead and jump into the fights. This event is loaded from top to bottom. We have 2 title fights. We have Dvalishvili setting a record for the most amount of title defenses in a single calendar year. We have Pantoja trying to inch closer to being the flyweight GOAT, and we have 14 total fights to break down, so let's just jump right in. We're going to open up the fight card with Naimov taking on Mairon Santos. This is essentially dangerous striker versus boring, versatile guy. That's what we got here. Mairon Santos is the dangerous striker. That's exactly what he is. He hits hard. He's accurate in his striking. He's got pretty good takedown defense because his stance is so wide. He's pretty durable, but he's got a ton of power. He can finish a good amount of people. He can get caught up into a scrap. He can end up in a back and forth war, but if he gets his hands going and he's not caught on his back the whole time, he can have a ton of success. He is priced very heavily here at $9,100, and I don't think he's going to be worth it because win or lose, I don't see him scoring very well. He is taking on Naimov. I do not think Naimov wins this fight. And oddly enough, he's the more well-rounded of the two. Naimov has wrestling. Naimov has decent striking. He's got good pressure. He's got good cardio. He's very, very durable. I think of these two fighters, he probably is the more well-rounded overall. But I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with the striking, and I don't think his wrestling is going to be good enough to get it to the ground. I do think he is absolutely, without question, good enough and tough enough to not get finished here. So to have Myron Santos at $9,100 in your lineup does seem like a wasted spot. If you are on the Muhammad Naimov side, I can understand you being there, and the $7,100 is appetizing, but let's take a look at what he scored. He won his last fight. He scored less than 60 points. He won the fight before that. He barely got over the $7,100 price tag. This guy is not somebody who's going to come in here, spark you, score 1,000,000 points. If he wins, it's because he'll get a handful of takedowns and he will grind out a close decision. I am on the other side here. Myron Santos is the pick. Neither one of these people will be in my lineup. Then we have Mansur Abdul-Malik taking on Antonio Trocoli. You can tell by this price tag how people are expecting this to go, and the reality is it probably goes that direction. My one and only concern here is that Division I wrestler Mansur Abdul-Malik, powerful striker Mansur Abdul-Malik, takes his time. That's my concern. It might look like the Nick Klein fight where he only scored 88 points because A, he was almost knocked out in that fight, and B, he took his time. He waited. He was patient on the outside. It was almost if he bet on himself to go over 1.5 rounds, and I would never accuse him of that. But my point is, somebody who has the dangerous power in his hands, somebody who has the ability to take the fight to the ground whenever he wants to, doesn't always get after it. We saw a little bit of that in his last fight. He's coming off of, this is recorded in DraftKings Fantasy as a win against Cody Brunich. That is not what happened in real life. The first 2 rounds were very close. The judges were split on those rounds. 1 round went to Cody, 1 round went to Mansur Abdul-Malik. Then the 3rd round comes around. Mansur Abdul-Malik accidentally, unintentionally headbutted Cody Brunich. That headbutt led to him being stumbled. Mansur Abdul-Malik let his hands go, and then they ruled it. In that moment, they called it off. Oh, finished. Then they looked at the replay, and they're like, oh, a headbutt did that. So then they said, okay, we're not calling this a finish. Let's just go ahead. The round isn't over yet, but we're more than 5 seconds into this round. So let's just go ahead and score the fight as is. We'll end it at the headbutt, and we'll score the fight. So they went to the judges. The judges said, okay, that round goes to Mansur, and they ruled the fight for him. After the fight, this is a long story. After the fight, Cody Brunich's team appealed to the commission in Atlanta saying that's bullshit. You can't possibly go to the judges for the 3rd round. And the commission agreed. The commission said, we have a rule that says you cannot score incomplete rounds. That was an incomplete round. This fight is a draw because they did score the first. They did score the second. If Mansur won the first 2 rounds, then it would have been a decision win for him, but he didn't. He split those 2 rounds. They scored it a draw. That whole story was a roundabout way of saying he's $9,800. He's the better fighter. He should find a finish, but he's not necessarily a killer all the time. He's taking on Antonio Trocoli. Famously, Mackenzie Dern's ex. He has been inside of the woman that you goon over. Antonio Trocoli is actually a decent fighter. He's somebody that in the past I've been somewhat high on. He's pretty big at 6'4", great looking, and he's got decent hands. He's got decent jiu-jitsu. He's okay at everything, but it doesn't seem to be coming together for him. I gave him a lot of excuses when he lost to Shara Bullet on short notice. The guy flew to the other side of planet Earth on 3 days' notice. Looked okay. Then just gassed to all shit, and he ended up getting finished by Shara Bullet. But to go out there and get guillotined by Tresean Gore is the worst look of them all. I have to be on the Mansur Abdul-Malik side. I actually am going to have a weird take here where I don't know if he's going to be worth $9,800. He scored 88 in the win over Nick Klein because he took his time, ended up in a couple of precarious positions, then found a knockout. We might end up in the exact same situation. So to use up an entire slot, a $9,800 slot for somebody who's going to score 88 points, probably not worth it. Then that takes us to Ibo Aslan taking on Iwo Baraniewski. Ibo Aslan is a dangerous established guy. Iwo Baraniewski has no picture, just a half a flag, and no stats, and that's good because he's a UFC debut. He's an exciting guy. He only has 6 professional fights, so it's not like he has a wealth of experience, but if you go through the tape and you take it at face value, he's a very well-rounded guy. He's got power in his hands. He's got busy athletic striking. He will work in takedowns very clean and very smooth. He doesn't wait till he's in trouble. He will just shoot a takedown. On the ground, he's got great control or ground and pound. He can seemingly do everything. And now, that's regional tape against regional guys. But I watched all the tape. I watched all the fights, and I didn't leave that saying, oh, if he improves this, or good striker needs wrestling. He has each individual component to be successful. It's just a matter of what he's going to look like at this level. And it's not the easiest fight in the world. He will be taking on Ibo Aslan. Ibo Aslan is very dangerous. He can knock your head clean off. Every single thing that he throws is with 100% intent. And he doesn't even throw everything at full power. Even a half power check hook can knock you out. Ibo Aslan is very dangerous. He also has shit cardio, and he's a better hammer than he is nail. He's pretty durable, but if you're backing him up and if you're in his face, he's just swinging wild and things sort of fall apart for him as the fight goes on. I do not think Ibo Aslan wins this fight. I am on the Iwo Baraniewski fight. Outside of DraftKings, I have placed a bet on him, on Iwo. But DraftKings fantasy-wise, Iwo would need to finish Ibo. And I don't know if he's going to finish him. He's a UFC debut. I think he might wrestle hard. I think he might get a bunch of takedowns. I think he's definitely going to win this fight, but I don't know if he's going to finish him. Ibo is very tough. Obviously, he got subbed by Cutelaba, but Cutelaba is a wild finisher. I'm going to lean Iwo Baraniewski. I do wish these DraftKings salaries were a little closer here. I will probably have him in my lineup because I do think there's the upside from the wrestling. 5 points for every takedown, some control time. But if you're on the Ibo side, then yeah, throw him in your lineup because $7,400 for a guy that can score 126 points because he'll knock your head right off your body is not the worst take in the world. I'm on the Iwo side, but Ibo has a bunch of upside with the power in his hands. And then we have a pretty controversial fight. We have Jalin Turner taking on Edson Barboza. Controversial because Jalin Turner took his ball and went home. He quit the sport. Literally quit the sport. He's had a rough run. He is 1-4 in his last 5. He lost to Gamrot. That's an acceptable loss. Gamrot shot a gazillion takedowns. The Dan Hooker loss, not quite as clean because Dan Hooker was just in his face and turned Jalin into a wrestler, and he didn't even have the success he needed. Then he beats an old Bobby Green and knocks him into oblivion. He loses to Moicano. He gave Moicano his first ever TKO win. Now, the circumstances there are a little different because he had Moicano almost finished. He dropped Moicano. He thought he had Moicano knocked out cold, so he walked away celebrating like this. Only for the round to continue. The ref didn't call it off. The round continues. Jalin Turner had the full adrenaline dump. They get to the second round. Renato Moicano takes Jalin down, finishes Jalin on the ground. And then obviously in his last fight against Ignacio Bahamondes, he was submitted in the first round when he followed Ignacio to the ground. It's an interesting fight to break down because Jalin, skill-wise, is very good. But after that run, he quit. He literally quit. He took his ball. He went home. He said, I'm done with this sport. I can't win anymore. I quit. I'm leaving. I quit. And the problem is, I don't know if he quit, refound love for the sport. I believe he found Jesus. But I don't know if he fell back in love with the sport and he's finding his way back, or he quit. He did find Jesus, and now he's like, I have bills to pay. I'm only 30 years old. What the hell am I going to do? Yeah, let me get back. Let me go back to the UFC and let me fight again. If I knew with 100% certainty that Jalin Turner was peak Jalin Turner, that he was himself, he's well-trained, he's ready to go, he will be in my lineup at $9,300 because he's long. He's got great range management. He has incredible power. He's got good clean striking. He also has good grappling. 3 of his last 5 wins are by submission, not even knockout, and he can still knock some people out. Jalin Turner is very good. But this is a closer fight than a lot of people think because Edson Barboza is also very good. If I scroll down here, this might take 48 minutes. I'm going to have to edit in a fast forward. That's how long he's been in the UFC. We have UFC highlights of him from 2011. 2011. It's 2025. 14 years ago. 14 years ago. We have highlights of him in the UFC. This Terry Edom fight, and the fact that I know this guy's full name shows you I'm no casual, showed up during COVID bitch. What it shows you is that Edson Barboza, with the spinning back heel kick to Terry Edom's face that knocked him out cold on his feet and he fell over like a tree that was notched, was incredible. Edson Barboza has put together a body of work that most fighters are jealous of. The problem is, a bunch of good wins and then a loss. Losing to Jamie Varner at the time, not the worst loss in the world. Puts together some good wins, loses to Donald Cerrone. All right, not the worst loss in the world. Wins a couple of fights, loses to Johnson, not the worst loss. Beats Felder, loses to Tony Ferguson when he was on his all-time stretch. Gets a couple of wins, loses to Khabib. Loses to Lee. beats Dan Hooker, loses the Gagey, loses the Felder, loses the Ige. All good people. Jacob had the stat, I forget what it was, that if you look at Edson Barboza's 11 losses, there's last 11, whatever the hell it is, the combined record of those fighters at the time of losing is like 128, something obscene like that. So Edson Barboza is only losing to the best of the best. Edson Barboza has unbelievable submissions. He's got great leg kicks. He's got great striking overall. I'm going to avoid this fight entirely because I think Edson Barboza is a phenomenal underdog here. Even a very good Jalin Turner, who I do think a very good Jalin Turner wins this fight. But even a very good Jalin Turner is not immune to leg kicks. And Edson Barboza, bang, will chop down that tree. He did just lose to Jakar Close, objectively the worst fighter he's lost to. And Jakar's not bad, but just the worst fighter he's lost to. That doesn't spell, you're a little nervous. He's older, coming off the worst loss of his career, or a loss to the worst opponent he's lost. I don't know how to word that. You get what I'm trying to say. Not great. Not a recipe for success. I am going to pick Jalin Turner here. Edson Barboza is a great underdog. I'm avoiding them both in a DraftKings fantasy lineup. Then we have Marvin Vettori taking on Bruno Ferreira. This could be a picture of a handsome Italian man or a fire hydrant. It could be the same picture and the outcome's identical. He's a human punching bag who doesn't get dented, doesn't get swelled up, doesn't bleed. Fire hydrant's almost a bad example because he doesn't even get red. Marvin Vettori started his career as a grappler. He has turned into a striker, but not like this fancy bob in your head type striker, just like move forward, rock'em sock'em robot, take a shot, throw a shot, take a shot, throw a shot. The good news for him is he does not wear damage at all. I mean, you could beat on his face with a bat, and he's going to look identical to this photograph right here. Marvin Vettori is not who he used to be, but he is still a top 10 middleweight on planet Earth, and he is fighting the lowest ranked fighter he has fought in like 10 years. Bruno Ferreira is very good. Bruno Ferreira is somebody that I've been high on in the past. Bruno Ferreira is a high-level judo practitioner, and he's got incredible power in his hands. When he came into the UFC, I picked him to beat Gregory Rodriguez. I think I was the only person who did. Then he got smoked by Nursultan Ruziboyev, and that's fine because Ruziboyev is also very, very good. He's basically beating everybody he should beat, except he lost to Ruziboyev. I'm good with that. Then he lost to Magomedov, and that's because he got tired as shit. He won the first round, got exhausted, started to slow down, ultimately got subbed in the third. That same thing could happen here. Not the finish in the third. I don't think there's a finish in this fight. But Bruno Ferreira could have early success. He's going to be faster. He's going to have more power. But he's going to be hitting a fire hydrant, so it's not going to matter. What I expect to happen in this fight is Marvin Vettori takes a beating, just continues moving forward, continues landing, moving, and wins a decision because Bruno Ferreira's cardio is shit, and he falls off a cliff. Neither one of these guys scores well. The points are not worth the salary. This is, statistically speaking, the $8,000, $8,200 salary point is, statistically speaking, in more optimal lineups than any other salary point. But I just do not think it's going to happen here. I think we're going to end up with a decision win on the Marvin Vettori side where the loser still scores 40 points and the winner scores like 70. And for those numbers, I'm out. Then we have Ziam taking on Nazim Sadykhov in what I think is a great underdog spot here. Ziam, I'm not a big fan. I've also never picked one of his fights correctly outside of this Terrance McKinney loss. So take all of this. Well, maybe I picked him to beat Figlak. Outside of that, I'm pretty sure I'm picking everybody else because Ziam is a boring French savate fighter. He hangs out on the outside. Touch, stay away. Touch, stay away. The only finish he has is over Matt Frevola, who is just begging to be finished. That's an all-time clip, by the way. His coach yelling, turn into him. He turns into him. Bang. Knee up the middle. Just falls limp, dead. All-time clip. Ziam is a very skilled fighter. Ziam is a very good fighter. He's a very calculated fighter. That doesn't exactly spell out excitement or risk-taking. If you want to beat Ziam, you have to get in his face and bring the fight to him. That's how McKinney did it. I don't even know who the hell Madge is. Who the hell is Madge? Did I see this fight? Who the hell is Madge? Did this guy have one fight in the UFC and that was the end of it? I have no clue who the hell Madge is, but I do know Ziam is very good. I also know I think he's going to lose here. Ziam's taking on Nazim Sadykhov. Nazim Sadykhov is tough as shit. Nazim Sadykhov is a guy that has incredible technical striking, but will engage in a firefight. He'll squeeze in some takedowns if he needs to. Nazim Sadykhov just weathered an all-time storm for Nicholas Mata just to turn the tables and then knock Nicholas Mata out. Nazim Sadykhov is very good. He's very dangerous, and he's not going to play that hang out on the outside bullshit game with Firas Ziam. Nazim's going to get in Firas's face, and we're going to find out who the better striker is. In my opinion, Nazim is the better striker. Even in decisions, he scores incredibly well. 76 points in a draw with Vyacheslav Borshev. I think we're good here to have Nazim Sadykhov in your lineup. He will be in mine, $7,900. I think Nazim's a great dog. He was a bigger dog just a few days ago. The line is tightening. He might actually flip to the favorite come fight night, but I'm picking Nazim. I do think he'll be in my lineup. I don't think hanging out on the outside is going to work well here for Firas Ziam because Nazim's just not going to let him do it. Then we have Maycee Barber taking on Karine Silva. Another interesting fight with some weird narratives here. The weird narrative is that Maycee Barber is unhealthy. Maycee Barber spent 9 days in the hospital last year for not an undisclosed illness. Undisclosed means they know what it is, they're just not telling you. For an unknown illness. She doesn't know why she was in the hospital. She knows the symptoms that got her there, but they weren't like, oh, you have this issue. This is how we fix it. It's like, here's just a bunch of IV bags. We're going to load you up with a bunch of random shit, and hopefully you'll be fine soon. She was in the hospital for 9 days. Now, there was a litany of random issues that they did solve, like a staph infection and this and that. I think there was a kidney issue. But this woman went through all of that. And I don't remember if the breast implants were before or after that, but then she gets breast implants, misses weight because of the boobies, comes back, they give her a main event against Erin Blanchfield, and she had a seizure in the locker room, a full-blown seizure. So if you want to blame the seizure on the weight cut, which is what they did, fine. Maybe you could excuse it as a one-off. But what about the 9 days in the hospital? And the problem with all of this is Maycee Barber is a very good fighter who should win this fight, and I'm going to pick her to win this fight. But Jesus Christ, 2025 has not been the year of health for Maycee Barber. And if she's not healthy coming into this fight, she's fighting a bulldozer, and this could go any direction. Maycee Barber's a very good striker. Maycee Barber's got fantastic fight IQ. Maycee Barber can move forward, defend some takedowns, have some success, and she's got a knack for winning split decisions. You could just assume every one of these decision wins was split and that it could be argued in either direction. Maycee Barber's good. She's the better overall fighter, but if she's not healthy, she's got problems because Karine Silva is a bowling ball. And not a bowling ball like when I break down Jose News, like an attractive bowling ball. She's jacked, she's pretty, she moves forward, she rips you to the ground, and on the ground, she's looking for finishes. I'm pretty sure every single one of her wins except two. There's two on the screen, so it's at least two. Most of her wins are by finish. She rips you to the ground, and then she either TKOs you or submits you. That's it. She did just beat Deone Barboza. She got taken down a bunch of times in that fight. Not a great look. I don't think she won that fight, but the judges did, and that's fine. Karine Silva's dangerous. Karine Silva's got okay cardio. She'll move forward. She's not afraid to engage. And if Maycee Barber's not 100%, if Maycee Barber's not minding her P's and Q's, Karine Silva will just bully her against the cage, drag her to the ground, and grind her out. I am picking Maycee Barber to win. I'm probably not putting anybody in my DraftKings lineup here. Maycee's good. She could finish Karine. Or she can get dragged around. Or score no points whatsoever, just landing the right amount of strikes as Karine desperately shoots takedowns and the judges go with Maycee on that. This one's a mess. We're going to leave this out of our lineup. Then we have Terrance McKinney and Chris Duncan. You would be an absolute dumbass if you didn't have either one of these fighters in your lineup. Pick the side. Whatever side you're on, put that fighter in your lineup because there will be an early finish here. Chris Duncan, another guy that I have not really picked his fights correctly, and that's because I look at him and I don't think he's that good. He clearly is winning fights. And he's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. But I don't think he was better than Mateusz Rebecki. I thought Jordan Vucenic was the better striker. Balazioki was the better fighter. But he's getting these wins. He weathered the Balazioki storm, catches him in a guillotine. Jordan Vucenic had some success. He blasts him, sucks up a guillotine. I thought Mateusz Rebecki, you could argue, won that fight. The problem is Mateusz just swells and bleeds and just looks like he got hit with a freaking dump truck. So yeah, the judges are going to score the damage on the Chris Duncan side. Chris Duncan's got heavy hands. He's insanely durable. He's wildly fun to watch. He can squeeze in submissions, and he's the more well-trained fighter here coming out of American Top Team. I'm gonna pick the other side, but if you want to throw Chris Duncan in your lineup, you might as well. I'm going to be on the Terrance McKinney side, though, because for 2 minutes, Terrance McKinney is the best fighter in the UFC. He is fast. He's athletic. He hits hard. He's got great wrestling entries, great submissions. And as long as he can get you out of there in a couple of minutes, he wins the fight. Let's just look at his record here. Let's look at the losses. He lost in the first round against Drew Dober, and that's a fight where he beat the fuck shit out of Drew Dober. He beat the fuck shit out of Drew Dober and then got exhausted. Drew turned the tables and knocked him out. Second round, of course he's going to lose. Second round, of course he's going to lose. First. Terrance McKinney has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 first round wins and 0 fight of the night bonuses in the UFC. It's actually ridiculous how overlooked he is with bonuses. He's a very good fighter. I'm going to pick him to win because I think he's the better fighter here. But I mean, we're going to need this to be a 1 minute win, or this dude's not winning, and it is what it is. So if you don't agree, throw Chris Duncan in your lineup. I might have them both in my lineup just to hedge. Somebody is going to win this fight in dramatic fashion and score 1 million points. I think it's Terrance McKinney, but I am not going to argue with anybody on this planet that thinks it's Chris Duncan. Then we have Grant Dawson taking on Manuel Torres. Before I use the analogy that for Marvin Vettori, you could have a picture of a fire hydrant, there might as well be no fucking picture here whatsoever because Grant Dawson is so boring, he's going to put you to sleep. Have a picture of the inside of your eyelids because that's what you're going to have during his fight. Grant Dawson is fighting one of the most exciting guys on the roster in Manuel Torres, and he is doing a world press tour saying out loud, I plan on being safe. I plan on taking my time. I am not going to engage in the striking. You can expect me to dive at his crotch. He is saying that into microphones trying to promote his fight. Jesus Christ. Grant Dawson is the most boring fighter on this roster. Now, is he actually going to do nothing? Of course not. What he is going to do, though, is dive at legs immediately, get the fight to the ground, and look to work. I do expect him to be busier on the ground than I have been getting him credit for, but I also expect him to be pretty conservative. So while I do think he's going to be busy, I don't think he's going to go Donkey Kong on top and just rain down strikes. I think he's going to keep his elbows in, work position, still try to work in elbows, and try to wear him out. I will expect Grant Dawson's activity to pick up in the second round. I guarantee this whole camp is get through the first round. Just get through it. Get a takedown as quickly as you can. Hang out on top. Get through the first round. Don't take any chances because Manuel Torres has great submissions. On the feet, he's more dangerous than Grant will ever be. Get through the first round, and then second round, then you can start to work because we assume the danger will be gone. Grant Dawson's a very good wrestler. Grant Dawson probably wins this fight. I am going to spend the $8,900 on him, but fuck is that guy boring. We will take a look at Manuel Torres. He is one of the most dangerous fighters on the roster. This guy has never, I don't think ever, maybe only in the UFC, but I don't think he's ever gotten out of the first round. Win or lose, this dude is going out there, getting after it, and it's going to end in the first round. He just recently knocked out Drew Dober. Before that, he did lose to Ignacio Bahamondes, who's very good, but he subbed Chris Duncan, not a care in the world. Nicholas Mata smoked him. Camacho smoked him. Manuel Torres is dangerous as shit for a couple of minutes, which is why I think the game plan from Chris Duncan or Grant Dawson is going to be get this to the ground immediately, chill. I think this first round is going to be boring as all hell. This first round is going to be a Grant Dawson fight. Then he might pick up the pace expecting Manuel to slow down. So Grant Dawson's going to be the pick. I will have him in my lineup because I think he wins. I think he scores pretty well in this win. That takes us to the main card of the evening. We have Jan Blachowicz taking on Bogdan Guskov. This is a fight where I'm going to pick one side and probably have the other side in the lineup for potential upside. Jan Blachowicz is the better, more established fighter here. Former light heavyweight world champion. He's a guy that his losses are all to the top people on the planet. He lost his belt to Glover Teixeira. Not a bad loss. Then he fights Ankalaev, who ended up becoming the light heavyweight champion of the world, to a draw. Tons of leg kicks, lots of success, ended up being a draw. He loses a split decision to Alex Pereira that a lot of people think he won. That was at elevation. He had 3 takedowns. Let's say it wasn't at elevation and the cardio lasted a little longer. It would have been an undeniable win. And then he just lost to Carlos Ulberg in a fight that I thought he won. I thought he got screwed in that fight. Now, was it exciting? No. Did he do anything huge? No. Landed some leg kicks early, had the forward pressure, and it was really just Ulberg stepping off land, step off land, and then Ulberg got the decision. I don't agree with the decision, but was it the worst one we've ever seen? No. The point of all of this is to say that, yes, he's 42 years old, and yes, he's not who he used to be, but he's still good. He's only lost to some of the best fighters on the planet. Alex Pereira, light heavyweight champion of the world, and if any luck, he'll be the heavyweight champion of the world. Glover Teixeira, light heavyweight champion of the world. Carlos Ulberg has the longest active win streak in this division. So Jan Blachowicz still got it for an old man, and we're going to find out if that chin is still there or not because he's fighting Bogdan Guskov. Smooth as silk. Not in his fight style. He's a little herky-jerky. I'm just talking his body. There is not a hair in his ear canal, let alone in his undercarriage. I don't know for sure. Okay, I didn't Google it. Let's not get weird, guys. Bogdan Guskov is going to come forward, swing wild, and if he doesn't knock you out, then he'll try to get you against the cage, try to drag you to the ground, kind of trying to make something happen. He submitted Billy Elikana. He knocked out Ryan Spann. Zach Puga, no longer in the UFC. Nikita Krylov wasn't great. Bang, knocks him out. Land that big clean shot. The reality is, Bogdan Guskov is very dangerous, has a ton of power, ton of finishing upside, but the first time he fought a well-established, pretty durable veteran in Volkan Ozdemir, he ended up getting taken down and subbed. Now, do I think Jan Blachowicz is going to take him down and sub him? No. But I do think Jan Blachowicz is too good, too experienced to get caught with a rogue shot. So I'm going to pick Jan Blachowicz here. I think the leg kicks are going to slow down Bogdan. I think Jan Blachowicz's just cage presence, his awareness of his surroundings, his ability to control a fight, I think that's going to win him a close decision. With that being said, all the upside is on Bogdan. All the upside. If there is a finish here, it's on that side. Anybody who could score any real points in a win, it would be Bogdan, not Jan. So the pick is going to be Jan DraftKings-wise. Bogdan has more upside. Then that takes us to a very sassy Peyton Talbot. A very zesty Peyton Talbot will be taking on Henry Cejudo. Peyton Talbot, while he does fly the very colorful flag, he is an outstanding fighter. First of all, this dude is tremendous for this weight class. He's a huge bantamweight, might be the biggest bantamweight. He's got power in his hands. He's got clean striking, good footwork. He's very athletic, and he's pretty composed in the octagon. The only time he looked pretty fucking stupid is when Hani Barcelos took him down over and over and over. And even then, he had a couple of decent scrambles. He wasn't recorded with any reversals here, but he had some good scrambles, ended up on top, had a takedown of his own. Peyton Talbot, if he closed the wrestling gaps, is going to style here. But it's a big question of if, because in a Hani Barcelos fight, it was bad. I mean, this dude got tossed around like he had never fought before. $9,900 salary. But in the last fight against Felipe Lima, his takedown defense looked spectacular. His scramble skills looked good. It looked like he closed a bunch of the gaps. But there's a big wide gap between a zesty twink and an Olympic gold medalist. Henry Cejudo is an Olympic gold medalist. One of the best wrestlers we had to offer out of this country for a pretty long time. Henry Cejudo also has pretty good striking with decent random power, but he's old. This is officially his retirement fight. This is it. Win or lose, he said he's gone. I do think he's going to lose here because despite being an Olympic gold medalist wrestler, that shit was like 15 years ago. And I don't think he's going to wrestle here. We haven't really seen him wrestle at any magnitude for a little while now. Obviously, he had the one takedown against Marab. The Aljo fight, I thought he won that fight. I disagreed with this decision. I thought he won this fight, and I would have loved if he did. Came back after 3 years away, got his belt back, but they didn't give him the decision. It is what it is. Fighting Marab next, like that's a tough go, especially now. But the Yadong fight, that's when I was like, man, dude, you should have had more success against a young-ish Song Yadong. But he didn't. There was an eye poke. It was ridiculous. But now here he is against Peyton Talbot. I do think he's being fed to the wolves. It's his retirement fight, and the UFC's not like, yeah, here's another old head that's, we'll get you a win. You could retire on top. No. The UFC's like, you cost us a couple $100,000 per fight, so we're going to use you to go build up this kid. And I think that's what happens. I don't think Peyton Talbot finishes Henry Cejudo. It could be a fun back-and-forth scrap, but I think Peyton Talbot's just too big, too strong, too fast, too clean to have his feet stuck in the mud and get taken down. Henry Cejudo, an all-time great, 2-division champion. I'm going to be sad to see him go, but I do wish this 3-year layoff never happened. From May 2020 to May 2023 were his peak years. And now here he is. Older, slower, not quite putting it together. Peyton Talbot's going to be the pick. $9,200 in DraftKings Fantasy? Probably not, because I don't think he's going to find any finishes. Then we have Tatsuro Taira taking on Brandon Moreno. I'll tell you right now, I am not picking Tatsuro Taira. I think he's a little bit overrated, and I recognize how good he is, but I don't think he's going to win this fight. Tatsuro Taira is a fantastic grappler. He's got good striking as well, but the grappling is really where he shines. If he takes you down, you're not getting up. You're not getting up unless you're Brandon Royval, who has endless cardio and sets an insane pace. But Tatsuro Taira is a very, very good prospect who's going to move forward, have clean striking, get some takedowns, control from there. He's got a couple of finishes, right? He found some power against Hernandez. You're going to see this knockout against Alex Perez. That's not what that was. That is not what that was. He was on Alex Perez's back. Alex Perez's knee went, and it was an injury. It's officially a TKO win, but it was an injury. He lost the first round on every judge's scorecard. He has taken on the very experienced former world champion, Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno is the former world champion. Now, he went to hell and back with the same fighter a couple of times in the first quadrilogy ever against Deiveson Figueiredo, but Brandon Moreno is an awkward, herky-jerky style striker who can make things weird for you. He's got great cardio, great pressure, decent offensive wrestling, decent defensive wrestling, good submission skills, and a former world champion. He's got plenty of dog in him, and he's a well-prepared guy. I think Brandon Moreno's years of experience at this level, I think Brandon Moreno's ability to do that herky-jerky style striking and then mix in the wrestling defensively or offensively is going to win him this fight. I'm picking Brandon Moreno. I will have him in my lineup. He's not the highest scorer we get to see, but he does have activity. He does have volume. I don't think Tatsuro Taira is going to get this fight to the ground, and if he does, then yeah, I'm going to wish he was in my lineup. But Brandon Moreno is going to be the pick, and he will be in my lineup. That takes us to the co-main event of the evening. We have Alexandre Pantoja taking on Joshua Van. He will be in my lineup. $9,000 for a guy that scored 95 points, 103 points, 143 points, 142 points, 143 points, 100 points, 99 points. In his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights, yeah, he's going to be in my lineup. I think you could start arguing that he is the best flyweight of all time over Demetrius Johnson, only because when DJ was doing it, it was against a much lesser competition slate. DJ was doing it when this division was brand new. DJ lost at 35, so he went down to 25. And then he had some success. Or was it the other way around? Did he go from 25 up to... I don't know. He lost to Dominic Cruz. Then I believe he went down. And then when he went down, he started to have success. But Alexandre Pantoja is doing what he's doing against just a different era of fighter. Beating Brandon Moreno. Beating Brandon Royval. Steve Ursay, I think, is overrated. Kaya Sakura, they had to bring in Asians from other organizations. Like, maybe this guy will do it. They didn't. Kai Kara France made him look stupid. Alexandre Pantoja's ability to bully forward, get fights to the ground, and then just dominate from there is wildly impressive. I will have him in my lineup, but that's not to say that Joshua Van is not good. Joshua Van is good. I think this is not going to be Joshua Van's first time in a title fight. I think Joshua Van earns his way back to another title shot because he's got great pocket striking, great composure. He's so young still that his skin barely moves if you hit him. He's got a great chin, doesn't wear any damage, good cardio, good pocket striking. Pretty durable guy. He's hit way too freaking much, but while he's still in his early 20s, it doesn't matter. Joshua Van is good. I just don't think he's good enough, and I think he's going to get big brothered here by the old man. Pantoja will be in my lineup. And then we have the main event of the evening. This is a rematch. The first time they fought, let's scroll down. Let's look at the stats. The first time they fought was a couple of years ago. He, as in Merab, who won the fight, had 11 takedowns, almost 8 minutes of control time, landed 147 significant strikes, and he scored 167 DraftKings fantasy points. Do you understand how insane that is? 167 DraftKings fantasy points, and that's not even the most he scored. It's the second most because he scored 219 in his last fight. He just threw Corey Sandhagen around that octagon without a care in the world. Merab Dvalishvili is leveling up. Merab Dvalishvili's cardio is legendary. We will never see anything like that ever again. His takedowns, ridiculous nonstop energy. His takedown percentage is low. It's like 30-something. But execution, 20 takedowns in a fight. He's throwing strikes. He's landing clean. He almost knocked out Corey Sandhagen. He didn't get a recorded takedown because Corey was running away half unconscious. He almost knocked out Corey Sandhagen. And he still got 20 takedowns. And he still landed 114 significant strikes, 243 strikes total. Merab Dvalishvili, since his first fight with Petr Yan, has leveled up beyond belief. If we take a look at Petr Yan, which I know a lot of you are all over Petr this week, I understand the love for Petr and his skill set. I just don't understand the love in this matchup. I just don't know what success he's going to have. Petr Yan's a very, very good striker. He's got good takedown defense, clean hands, great leg kicks. Petr Yan is a very good fighter. He is by no means a bum or a slouch. And you're going to say he lost to Sean O'Malley. He didn't lose that fight. I thought he won that fight. That was a bad decision. He did lose to Aljo the second time. First time, we all know that was bullshit with the knee. Second time, he straight up lost that fight. The Merab fight, he straight up lost that fight. Now, his shoulder was hurt, his hand was broke. Maybe, but I don't care. Merab Dvalishvili has just leveled up so much in the last few years. It is insane. The only concern is what's Merab's cardio going to be, cutting weight 4 times in 1 calendar year. But I'm not worried about it. That guy has legendary cardio. Merab is going to be in my lineup. Pantoja will be in my lineup. And I think we go into 2026 with a couple of and stills. Guys, that is the breakdown. For the love of shit, put yourself in a position to win a couple of bucks watching your favorite sport. Go to WeWantPicks.com. Unlock the DraftKings Optimizer. Unlock the event simulator. Unlock the picks. Unlock the bets. Unlock the tools at $10 for all of it. There's no weird tiers. There's no upsells. There's no bullshit. We don't separate. $10, 1 click. All of it is yours. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. This is the last pay-per-view. I texted my neighbor. I said, hey, you coming over Saturday? Last pay-per-view. He said, end of an era. And he's not wrong. This is the end of an era. I don't know what these numbered events are going to look like in 2026. Hopefully they keep the same energy with no commercials. But there was something special about, and this sounds absurd, spending $80. Spending the money was a commitment. I chose to spend this money, so let's go. But I'm still looking forward to my favorite sport, hopefully your favorite sport, being broadcast to more people than ever, more accessible than it has ever been. 2026 is going to be amazing, but we are nowhere near done yet with 2025. Thank you for being here, and good luck this weekend.